When the white boy first dropped out of school to work, he faced a life-changing experience. He had just picked up the ice when a sudden sound of raindrops startled him. The ice in his hand scattered across the floor. The wealthy second-generation man behind him neither apologized nor stopped taunting him with insults. This made him, once part of society, appear ugly. Watching the other person leave casually, he felt conflicted emotions. At that moment, a newspaper on the ground caught his attention. He picked it up, and fate began to turn. Newspapers chronicled the tale of steel magnate Andrew Carnegie. Both had similar childhoods, dropping out of school at 12 to work and facing disdain from wealthy peers. Ultimately, he became a steel tycoon with a net worth of hundreds of millions. In an era when $10 could support a family, this was a significant amount. At that moment, the boy named Red resolved to become a billionaire in the future. However, when he told his father about this dream with great expectation, he got a basin of cold water on his head. "My son, you'll never be rich. The only thing you can count on is being able to go to the beach." "That's what my father gave me. I'm sorry, but that's all you'll ever be. This isn't solely my father's fault. Our difficult life has left this family on the brink of collapse." Rhett's mother was seriously ill and bedridden, placing all family burdens on his father. Years of deep poverty crushed their hopes for the future, yet Red became even more determined. "Having made your decision, take action." After much hesitation, Red chose to go to the big city alone to work as a bedfellow. After seeing his bedridden mother, he wrote a farewell letter and departed from his hometown of 16 years, surprising everyone. It was this decision that would completely change his life and make him the oil tycoon of the civilized world. He was broke and couldn't afford a train ticket. He planned to sneak onto the train with other illegal immigrants while the security was distracted, but the staff quickly found them. Fortunately, a black man came to his aid in time and he was able to escape the disaster. He was exhausted and fell asleep in a corner. When he woke up again, he saw the black man who had helped him before, gesturing at the air. "What do you do?" "I'm working on my gold medal list. What are you doing?" "My golden list is something I talk about every day. Every day, rain or shine, I will do a list of 10 things that I thank God for." "What are you thanking God for?" Red clearly didn't grasp his actions. They were struggling to survive, much less feel grateful. The black uncle reminded him that everyone has many reasons to be grateful, including the gift of life and the lessons learned over the years. A grateful heart keeps one warm and moved. However, before Red grasped this truth, the train reached its destination. The black uncle seized the chance and jumped down. By the time Red gathered the courage to jump, the other party had vanished. Desperate, he followed passers-by to a nearby town where a farmer was hiring workers. During industrial scarcity, many applicants came, but only 6 workers were needed. In order to solve the problem of eating, the thin Red squeezed forward and kept recommending himself to the farmer. The other party avoided looking at him due to his thinness. As the 6 spots were nearly filled, Red quickly turned and lifted the strong man beside him to assert his worth. Though he ultimately failed, his antics amused the farmer. Impressed by his enthusiasm, the other party eventually agreed to accept him. The young Red lacked game experience. His wooden stakes fell with a light push, but his unyielding spirit was unmatched. While others rested, he worked hard to strengthen his stakes. Noticing his determination, Gers approached slowly. He handed Red a spoonful of water, feeling guilty. He learned Gus was born into a wealthy farming family, but the bank seized their land due to the economic depression. Now the whole family can only make a living by doing odd jobs for others. So his biggest dream is to become the largest farmer in Texas and buy the bank that confiscated his family's land. Red dreams of being a billionaire, making their discussions increasingly speculative. The breeze flows through the mountains and seas, sweeps the busy city, cools the sweat of labor, nourishes the earth, and nurtures friendship. This meeting makes Red and Gus vital friends in each other's lives. Yet the path to dreams is often filled with uncertainties and confusion. While playing cards at night, Red fell into deep thought and realized he couldn't achieve his dream with a part-time job. In the end, he would just waste his life like these people. He would also use his father's words to educate himself. Tone of education for the next generation. So he found the farmer with a worried heart and asked him directly about the secret of success. The other party was obviously very interested in the young man in front of him, so he told Red meaningfully that success requires many factors. But the most important point is not to be a follower, but to be the leader of the industry. Salt. Hearing this, Red thought about it. Then he asked the farmer if he could save more expenses if he finished the farm work ahead of time. The farmer smiled and acknowledged this, admiring his courage, but it was an impossible task. But Red stood up with a confident look on his face. The next morning, the workers were awakened by the bell, but Gus didn't see Red until they arrived at the construction site. They realized Red started work at 3 in the morning. The other workers were confused, but Red explained that the farmer paid based on work done, so they could finish earlier. He shared his work plans for the special performance that night, suggesting groups of 3, one to dig and measure, another to place stakes, and the third for installation and follow-up tasks. The assembly line plan boosted efficiency. The farmer smiled with relief as the cool evening breeze touched his cheeks and the sunset lit the sky. They finished a day early. Ultimately, Red gained an additional reward, successfully earning his first pot of gold in life through his wisdom. He mailed 20 knives home from the post office, but was drawn to a gold-incompatible belt before leaving. So he asked the owner of the belt again about the secret of success. At the same time, he also said that he wanted to go to California to make a living. But the other party told him that if he wanted to make money, he didn't have to go there at all. Beneath Texas grasslands lay endless soft gold. The clever Red thought of oil, but the other just smiled silently. This made Red decide his life's direction, but now he feels lost. Just then, he was captivated by a beautiful girl on the road. The girl greeted him gracefully, but Red was too nervous to respond clearly. Fortunately, the other party didn't mind and invited him to attend the dance held by the town school in the evening. Red felt embarrassed. He nodded in agreement and spent all his savings on a decent outfit. When he finally gathered the courage to approach the other party, he was abruptly halted by the Geji tribe's fairy lanterns. Anna clearly preferred Red, but he was surprised when Red, a straight man, first mentioned marriage. If love is a risky game, then countless people want to push themselves to the brink of death, and Red is one of them at this moment. In order to see each other more, he would wait for Anna at the school gate every day after school. This behavior reveals his secret love for Anna and draws the attention of a young man. He also publicly mocks Rhett as merely a champagne guy. Anna intervenes and drives him off, but he warns Rhett that his father won't permit her to be with a man who hasn't slept with her. To help Reed gain academic qualifications, Anna took him to the principal's office, hoping he could take the freshman exam and join the class. Before the principal spoke, Reed rejected Anna's kindness, believing studying was a waste of time. He could learn all kinds of knowledge through self-study, and he could go to college at any time as long as he wanted. At the same time, he also listed many successful people who had never been to college. Looking at the young man in front of him who was talking nonsense, the principal wanted to preach to him, but Reed directly asked Anna to give him a punishment question with no digits. 56679, 61444, 7409. It only took him 1 second to mentally calculate the 7-digit answer. When Anna at the side verified it, she found that it was exactly the same as the correct answer. He deduced from the principal's test paper that he is allergic to the deep-rooted plant called velvet, which secretes allergens from its leaves. The principal was even more shocked that Red calculated his $170 million annual income, using the salaries of local residents and his position in this unknown Texas city. "I'm sorry, sir. I can't tell you, right?" She got up and left the office. However, Anna was very dissatisfied with her behavior and said, well, she turned around and left. However, when she went to school the next day, the head teacher suddenly said that there was a new student in the class today. When Anna turned around, she saw the new student was Red. She felt genuinely happy for Red's change, and they quickly bonded, their feelings deepening as they spent time together. Just as things were going well, the radio announced Japan's attack on Pearl Harbor. Consequently, President Roosevelt decided to declare war on Japan, officially entering World War II. Despite not knowing where Pearl Harbor was, passionate Rhett eagerly enlisted in the Army. When Anna heard the news, she was unhappy with Rhett's behavior, leading to a dispute between them. The love sailboat faced huge waves for the first time. "I won't wait for you. Do you hear?" "Good. Many boys want me. I can be with anyone." Okay, they can stay with you? I don't care. I still want your deposit." "Hey, did you hear that?" "Let's marry." "I don't need a girlfriend now. Turn around and leave. I have something to say, but I still want to love you." Differences always exist. Sinking in the wind. Love only accumulates into hurt. Turn around and leave. Breaking up cannot be said. Separation pain is hard to forget, but a promise can ease grievances. Yet, the war is crueler than Red thought. While delivering a letter to the front line, he was accidentally hit by a shell. Luckily, a teammate rescued him from the danger. This comrade was Gus, whom he met on the farm. Luckily, Red's injury was minor and the war was brief. As time passed, 10 years erased his childish look, and Rhett returned to a peaceful life. He has been married to Anna for years and has children, but Rhett hasn't forgotten his dream. After military service, he used his savings to buy a farm and pursue his oil dream. But reality always goes against his dream. For several years, there was only mud and sand in his oil wells, and no trace of oil at all. But the more this happened, the more anxious he felt. His employees were very unhappy when they heard this, and finally quit their jobs on the spot. When Red returned home, he was even more dejected because his family assets had been emptied out over the years. If he couldn't see oil again, his family would have to stay with him. Thankfully, no matter how tough life got, Anna was always there for him. But he still hoped that Red could spend more time with him in his spare time. As a father, Red saw his son playing alone in the yard and realized that he had failed in his duty. So he went to the yard for the first time and played baseball with his son. His son wanted Red to teach him how to throw a curveball, but he was not interested in it at all, and he didn't know how to do it. Red realized that professional matters are best handled by experts. The next day, he invested significantly to hire an oil explorer. He saw that the other party took various instruments and measured them. After that, he accurately locked a position. Red obviously didn't believe him, but now he has no way out. God favors those who persist. The hope sown years ago has now blossomed and yielded fruit. He quickly shared the good news with his family, best friend, and rival, Gers. Their rivalry has turned them into each other's closest friends over the years. In one day, production hit 50 barrels of crude oil at $2 per barrel. The reserves will last them decades without depletion. While they are far from becoming billionaires, they can enjoy a comfortable life with these resources. This large profit caught the previous farmer's attention. Jealous, he sued Reed, claiming their deal was only for the land, excluding the right to mine the oil below. Reed was angered by the shameless behavior, but his oil mining experience taught him professionalism's importance. So he directly spent a lot of money to hire a genius lawyer who ranked first in Howard Law School. But on the day of the trial, they found out that this genius was actually a black man in that special era. Almost everyone thought that Reed had lost the case. The other party's lawyers kept humiliating him. But facing these voices outside the law, he did not. Instead of paying too much attention, he turned around and asked Red how long he hoped it would take to handle the case. Upon hearing his employer's request, the black lawyer Dick smiled faintly and started his performance. It was decided to take this document out of the county council's records. As I said, I found out from the records that my client had purchased the land from your client 2 years ago and the legal fees. So this happened 2 years ago. 2 years ago, The two of them were defeated in just one round by Dick's expertise. Red was also shocked by his expertise, so he immediately offered a high price to hire Dick as the legal counsel of his oil company. With Dick as his lawyer, Red's oil business expanded significantly over the next decade. He acquired farms consecutively, establishing his oil empire. His net worth has already exceeded tens of millions of dollars. However, because he has been focusing on work for a long time, he rarely participates in the discipline of his children. This also leads to them not being able to do anything except asking for money every day. What makes him even more upset is that as more and more oil fields are being discovered, the market is saturated, leading to a drop in crude oil prices. Despite his wealth, he is not yet a billionaire. Red remembered the farmer's advice, always be a leader of the times. After discussion, Red decided to set up his own oil refining for the West and create his own industrial chain. Soon he set his sights on a refinery that was on the verge of bankruptcy, so he immediately took Dick to find the other party. Red's successful career has altered his mindset. A few negotiation words revealed the other party's disdain for his arrogance, leading them to complicate matters and tell him to wait for news at home. It was the first time in years that Red hit a wall, forcing him to return with Dick. He waited 2 weeks without a response. With Christmas tomorrow, Dick couldn't wait any longer. In the end, he insisted on going to the hotel with his family despite Red's objection, reunited together. In the end, Red had no choice but to let Dick go back first because the refinery was too important to him. He couldn't easily pass up this opportunity. Thankfully, the wait paid off. On Christmas morning, the refinery owner met him in person. He had already signed the contract to transfer it to Red. He delayed until today only to test his sincerity. Red's oil industry soon dominated the headlines. He has finally achieved his childhood dream and become a billionaire. But when he looked back, he found that there was no one around him to share. At the same time, he heard a piece of bad news. His good friend Dick was in a car accident on his way home, and both of his kidneys were ruptured. Now he can only rely on blood dialysis to barely maintain his life. Now he can only pray that someone will donate a kidney to save everything. Seeing his friend dying, Red felt conflicted. He chased fame and fortune, but lost something more valuable: his family's company and his friend's life. He remembered the Black Uncle's words when he boarded the train, feeling grateful for life and its lessons. He, who never believed in fate, began praying for Dick. Noticing their matching blood types in the medical record, he made a crazy decision. Days later, Red and Dick opened their eyes in the hospital. Red saved his friend's life with his kidney. After waking up, Dick asked Red how he felt about becoming a billionaire. "You did what you said you would do. I did everything important for you." After this, Red understood life's meaning. Once discharged from the hospital, he held a family meeting and decided to use his wealth to create a charity foundation for those in need. He gave each child $100,000, hoping they would help others. However, they quickly forgot Red's words and walked away with the money into the colorful world outside. Although they had already prepared for this result, Red still felt a little lost at this moment. But at this moment, his youngest son suddenly turned back and returned the money in his hand to Red. Supporting his father's foundation showed his commitment to charity. This movie is based on a true story. The story's prototype is John Davis. Rockefeller co-founded ExxonMobil, a leading global oil company. He is the first oil tycoon in America, known as the Oil King. Yet the path to success is fraught with challenges. When prosperity fades and dreams awaken, everything feels ephemeral. After life's ups and downs, we realize that chasing money, fame, and fortune is a path we all must take. Chasing dreams is important, but valuing family is life's greatest wealth.